Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Glad you're here. Today's Red Mic message: when belief shows up loud. I've talked about this before, the compliment donut, coaching donut, whatever you want to call it. It's a concept I learned years ago watching Jimmy Johnson. And it's pretty simple. You start with something positive, then you give them the teaching, the correction, the bad stuff that they're doing wrong, right in the middle. And then you ended up with belief. Usually is something like this: hey, great effort on that play, great enthusiasm, you're working hard. But when you go to make that block, you got to put your head here, your arms here. You got to clean that technique up a little bit, get the hands in tight. If you're working hard, and if you fix these few little things, you're going to be knocking them dead. Way to go. And then you clap it out. And now they hear the good stuff. They hear the bad stuff, but the positive on the outside, the correction in the middle, with the belief closing it out, it's very effective. Because if you go straight iron fist, people shut down. If they know that you're on their team, you want them to succeed, they hear the correction differently. They don't hear it as criticism, they hear it as an investment, they hear it as an encouragement. And that correction's not always calm and quiet. Sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's direct, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, there's no time to soften the edges. There was a game last weekend, so about a week ago. Coach Brenda Fries, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, with the Terrapins, I believe, got right in the face of Oluchi Okananwa. Again, hope I got the name right. She wasn't trying to tear her down, though, but to challenge her. But she was, yeah, I mean, she was right in her face. I mean, just like that. But at the core of what she was saying, these are direct quotes, and she was yelling and, no, and you could tell this was not an easy moment. But then she said, and I'm not even a lip reader, and I could tell what she was saying: "You've got this. I believe in you. Go do it." Now, at that point in the game, Oluchi had 7 points. She finished with 21. That coaching, that moment didn't create those 14 points because the ability and the preparation were already there. But what changed it was the switch, the mindset. And that, for her, didn't happen or wouldn't have happened if the encouragement had been quiet. Hey, you're working hard. I'm so happy for you. Go out there and do it, warm and fuzzy. No, she had to get that player's attention. She said, basically, you are not playing to your ability. You are not doing what you need to do. This is not who you are. I know who you are. Now get out there and do it. And on social media, of course, not a majority, not even half, but I would say a good 30, 40% of the people were like, well, that coach is out of line and blah, 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 blah. But then after the game, I'll tell you about that in a minute. You know, she wasn't criticizing, she was igniting. Olucci, after the game, explained it. She said, that was a regroup moment. She was telling me that she believed in me. And that's the kind of coaching that I like. She actually said, I need that type of tough love. I mean, she said it almost verbatim. And, again, to outsiders, it looked heated, but to her, it was reinforcement. It was belief. She said, this is a quote: "Coach understands I'm a competitor at heart. I love to be coached hard." And that's what she does with me every single day. And then she closed it with saying, I feel like after that conversation, I went back out and did what I had to do. I'm forever appreciative of that. But those 30, 40% of the people that were complaining about the coach, they didn't get it. And I don't know if they ever will. And maybe that's a red mic message for another day. But to me, it says almost everything. Hard coaching without trust does feel like an attack, but hard coaching with belief, with understanding that that's what that player needs in that moment, man, it's all the belief in the world. And that's the difference. And a lot of leaders miss this. They hear, be careful of how you say things, and they translate that into never challenge directly. So they manage tone and they lose impact. I replaced a lady years ago that was a yeller all the time, but she didn't believe that her people could do the job. So the yelling, the loud voices didn't come from a place of belief or respect. She was just a jerk, you know? Admittedly, some people don't need you to lower the temperature, they need you to raise it. Not all the time, but in those tough moments where it matters and where they need that extra focus. But you got to know when to go to that line. You want to be a great leader, you have to know how your people hear them. They You need to know who needs that quiet word, that soft pat on the back, who needs a steady hand. But you also need to know who in the middle of the crap flying everywhere needs, "You've got this. Stop messing around and go do it." That's that's not just a donut. That's like a pastry. I mean, it's got it all. Same structure, different delivery, sometimes calm, sometimes firm, sometimes loud enough to cut through their own doubt. Leadership's not about memorizing techniques. At its core, at its heart, it's about knowing people. Because if you don't, you'll be too soft when they need that kick in the keister. You'll be too hard when they need support. You'll miss the moment of coaching, of improvement, of mastery. Coach Freeze didn't miss it though. She knew her player. She knew the moment. She knew what she needed to say that would land hard and be transformative. She knew the intensity wouldn't break her player. She knew that it would unlock her, and it did. Again, she went from 17 to 21 points. And it wasn't management, it was alignment between the coach and the player, between message and mindset, between belief and performance. Even though they lost that game, real leadership, when it's loud, it's unmistakable, when it's rooted in belief, that's the goal. So meet people in a moment that moves them forward. And that's today's Red Knight message. Hope you found it interesting. Hope you found it helpful. Hope you're able to put some of these things in place in your own life. Yeah, you hear me say this all the time. Let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts down in the comments. Well, on Friday, somebody did, but they did it in a way that I thought was kind of trollish. But rather than clap back with jerk attitude or blocking them or anything, I just sort of smiled a little bit and kind of engaged them in a way that I thought was going to be, well, kind of red Mike-ish. Did I make fun a little bit? Yeah. Did that make them mad and they pushed back even harder? Yeah. But then I ended it up with, may you have the day that you deserve. Not unkind, maybe a little biting. I do appreciate you. I do appreciate the comments. I hope this guy comes back. If he had added any real commentary, I would have liked to have engaged him on an actual intellectual level. But all he basically said was, this guy's full of crap. And that's not helpful. I wish that he engaged me in an adult manner, but he didn't. So what are you going to do? I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Happy Monday. I know that for some of y'all, this will be a short week because it is Holy Week. Try to be mindful of what this week means. I know I'm sure going to. I'll see you again next time. And until next time, don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.